Good day, here are the top stories from the Pna Headlines. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. says it is time for former Negros Oriental Representative Arnolfo Teves Jr. to face justice now that he is back in the Philippines. In a video message uploaded on the official Facebook page of the Presidential Communications Officer PCO, Marcos said it is time for Teves to answer for the criminal charges filed against him. Teves is facing multiple criminal charges before the Manila Regional Trial Court, including the assassination of former Negros Oriental Governor Roel de Gamo in 2023 and other murder cases in 2019. He was also charged under the Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020 for the reported orchestrated killings and acts of violence in Negros Oriental. Marcos assured Filipinos that such lawlessness will not go unpunished. The president also welcomed Timor-Leste's decision to repatriate Teves. He thanked Timor-Leste President Jose Ramos Horta and Prime Minister Sanana Gusmao for their assistance. Teves arrived in the country on Thursday night, more than 2 years after he fled the country. The plane carrying him from East Timor refueled in Davao City before going to Villamor Air Base in Pasay City. He underwent booking procedures and medical examinations at the National Bureau of Investigation headquarters. The NBI plans to transfer him to the new Bilibid prison in Muntinlupa City later on today. Meanwhile, Senate President Francis Chiz has rescheduled the presentation of the articles of impeachment against Vice President Sara Duterte. The formal transmission of impeachment articles is scheduled at 4 p.m. on June 11 instead of June 2. The presentation is a prerequisite to convening the Senate as an impeachment court. In a letter addressed to House Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez on Thursday, Escudero said the decision was made after a meeting of the Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council. He said this was to allow Congress to act on urgent priority measures before its sine die adjournment within 6 days. The LEDAC has identified 12 priority bills that lawmakers are expected to deliberate and pass before the 19th Congress ends. Escudero pointed to the pending confirmation of more than 200 presidential appointments by the Commission on Appointments once the 20th Congress opens on the 2nd of June. Meanwhile, a recent survey by Stratbase and social weather stations showed that 87% of Filipinos want the newly composed Senate to prioritize reforms on education. This as the data from the Philippine Statistics Authority showed that 5.58 million Filipinos who have at least graduated junior high school were found to be functionally illiterate. 83% believe that senators must support agricultural development to boost food security. 82% want the Senate to prioritize investing in healthcare, while 79% said that senators should expand social welfare programs for low-income families. 74%, on the other hand, urged the Senate to work on increasing the minimum wage, while 73% called for job creation. 71% said senators should formulate price control measures to stabilize the cost of goods and services, while 67% said that the Senate must strengthen government reforms to ensure transparency and accountability in government spending. The Department of Social Welfare and Development has committed to help the woman who surfaced from a sewer hole in Makati City. DSWD personnel found the woman identified as Rose on Thursday. Rose's situation came into light after a social media post showing her crawling out of a drainage hole went viral. During the meeting held at the DSWD's Pag-abot Center in Pasay City, Secretary Rex Gatchalian said Rose will be given 80,000 pesos in livelihood assistance to help her start her own sari-sari store. Gatchalian also said that the DSWD will provide training and equipment for Rose's partner Jerome, who is reportedly skilled in welding. Earlier today, Gatchalian led the reach-out operations with Rose to convince other street dwellers to join the Pag-abot Center and receive the appropriate interventions. Gatchalian said, helping Rose and other families and individuals in street situations is a tall order from President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., who earlier directed that no Filipino family should be left behind. And in our business news, the Department of Transportation has announced a toll holiday for the Skyway Stage 3 and the North Luzon Expressway Connector Road beginning June 13. Both Skyway Stage 3 and NLEX Connector will serve to help ease vehicular traffic once the EDSA rebuild project begins on June 13. In a statement, the DOTR thanks San Miguel Corporation Tollways, the operator of Skyway Stage 3, and Metro Pacific Tollways Corporation, which operates the NLEX Connector Road, for offering to implement the toll holiday. Aside from the Skyway and NLEX Connector, the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority advised motorists to take the alternate routes or mabuhay lanes instead of EDSA for the duration of the rebuild. Meanwhile, the Anti-Agricultural Economic Sabotage Council has released new enforcement rules which will intensify the Marcos administration's campaign against smugglers, profiteers, and cartel operations. The council approved a whole-of-government framework enforcement, or AAES, Act and implement coordinated action against smuggling, illegal importation, and profiteering networks. The initiative will also monitor agricultural prices and expose price manipulation, as well as respond to abnormal market disruptions triggered by economic sabotage and/or other supply chain issues. Secretary Frederick Go from the Office of the Special Assistant to the President for Investments and Economic Affairs said the Council's enforcement efforts will focus on dismantling major syndicates that manipulate markets and unfairly drive up prices. And those are the latest and the biggest stories from the Pna Headlines. For more news updates, visit our website, pna.gov.ph, or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. The Pna Headlines is also streamed via the Serbisyo Facebook page. You may also watch the Pna Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account and via the News and Information Bureau website under Pna News. I am William Theo. This is the Pna Headlines, bringing you stories that unite the nation.